if you keep getting disrespected, walk off. But did you tell the people? Because Joe did. Joe said this publicly. I was making calls to try to get Everyday Struggle on Revolt.
Chatterboxx.
So in my last couple of videos, we've been talking about DJ Akademiks and Charlamagne, and I promise we're going to get back to our regular Joe Budden podcast episodes shortly. This story has just been moving so fast, and with Joe's name continuing to come up, I wanted to see it through. So first, we talked about Akademiks saying Charlamagne told him to walk off Everyday Struggle while he was on air with Joe Budden. Then we covered Akademiks' reaction after he and Charlamagne finally sat down, where he gave himself the score of 9-3 and explained why he felt like Charlamagne still never answered his questions. Well, now the actual conversation is out, and after watching it, a few things immediately stood out to me. First of all, these two were not listening to each other. They were talking over each other, talking at each other, and it never really felt like either one was trying to understand the other one's perspective. Then on top of that, it felt like every time Charlamagne started explaining his side, Akademiks would jump to another point or another conversation. So instead of one issue getting worked through, the discussion just kept zigzagging all over the place. Now, that is just my 2 cents. And don't get me wrong, that's just how I heard it. Y'all might want to watch this and come away with something completely different. And towards the end of this clip I'm about to play for you guys, Charlamagne also brings up wanting to get with Joe Budden. I actually put a poll up on Twitter and inside the Joe Budden community because I am curious to see what you all think about that. So take a listen to what Charlamagne had to say when the conversation of Everyday Struggle came up and about getting with Joe.
Because I mainly stream, but I felt like it wasn't a priority like that. I'm like, damn, I'm watching you when I see a bunch of other dudes, they're trying to kick off their career. They're not even in the middle of their career. They need you. We're going to look at them because they're sitting out with Charlamagne the God. And I've seen you with those people. And I'm like, damn.
But I do that on purpose. That's strategically to the point you just made. I want to help them get their shit going. You Akademiks. I saw you had a conversation about me when I called you about Everyday Struggle. You manipulated that conversation as well.
No.
I told you that if you keep getting disrespected, you don't have to be there. I said, yo,
No.
And I told you, I said that media space isn't respecting your audience yet. Because remember, all of this shit that everybody feels about the internet now, they didn't feel like that back then. They saw it, but they were still trying to play that traditional media game. You were building an audience that they didn't even have yet. And I just told you, hey, if you keep getting disrespected, walk off. But did you tell the people? Because Joe did. Joe said this publicly. I was making calls to try to get Everyday Struggle on Revolt.
That sounds really hard to believe considering this is how he was talking about Revolt when he sat down with Joe. And Joe mentioned that he might have a deal.
Tell me about this Revolt partnership. Let's hear about that, partner, man.
Listen, everybody knows I hate Revolt. I say that on air.
I don't know that.
I say it on
our
air
audience,
all the time.
Our audience don't listen to the air. Tell us.
Oh, well, hey, I mean, it's just...
Why you hate Revolt?
Because they don't pay us shit. That's why. That's the bottom line. They don't pay us nothing, and it's just like, I'm not even really supposed to be talking shit about them, actually. But when you're promoting something.
Everyone simmer down. I might have a Revolt bag being negotiated down alone.
For the podcast? You better talk to Nori.
No, not for the podcast. Everyone simmer down.
Okay. Back to the sit down.
Okay.
Did you ever tell people that?
Well, the Revolt...
A lot of times,
Wait.
A lot of times people think we got issues because of things that you say.
No. The Revolt stuff, I was never really party to.
I told you, though.
So
Joe got it, and I connected Joe
had conversations.
And then Joe went and did some other shit.
And then I was like an afterthought with that particular thing. So it was not like I'm like in the huddle, the group huddle. The point about the Everyday Struggle thing, okay, I'll give you that. There is some context missing because you were like, yo, bro, I think you're getting disrespected on that show.
It's true.
However,
Joe stood up and looked in your face and was yelling at you.
But also it was good theater. Like, and that's where I was trying to like balance it. Like I'm kind of new in the game. And like, I have so much love for that show because it needed to be that. It couldn't be, okay, you got your audience and now you're supposed to be looking like this Don Dada, like, yo, you're supposed to get tested. Now, obviously, with some respect, of course. But the only part of that conversation I said the part where you said, yo, Ak, you know how you do, nigga, when you go in, nigga, walk off on air if that shit happens. And that, like, I thought about it.
I don't remember saying that, though.
Nah, you did.
I remember saying, quit the show. I don't know if I said walk
I
off
saw
on air.
on air. Trust me.
I don't know if I really don't remember if I said that.
Charlotte, during that time I met.
So right here in this conversation, I can see Akademiks' perspective where he's saying that he was being gaslit. And there were a number of times through the conversation. And whether Charlamagne can or can't remember telling Akademiks to walk off air, he did directly tell Joe Budden about respecting Akademiks.
I'm not here to sabotage any of Joe Budden platforms.
I will fire Akademiks before that happens.
That shouldn't happen, okay?
No, that's my guy. No, we need him. We need him.
No.
And we need him to be good.
We need Joe to focus. And we need Joe to respect Akademiks. It's not the problem in this situation, Joe.
Yeah.
Everyday struggle depends on you.
Debatable.
No, it's
debatable.
on you.
If you look at those comments, it's all people, I'm here for Akademiks, I'm here for Akademiks. They're not
Absolutely.
really here for him.
No, they're starting to like Joe, but they're so fickle.
Let me be very clear with y'all, and I told Maul before this podcast started, the industry should have gotten rid of me when they tried to, damn it.
I agree.
They should have tried, because they wanted me gone, and now I'm here. I ain't here to be liked. I don't give a fuck what them YouTube niggas say about me. I'm still here.
So even though Joe jokingly says that he would fire Akademiks, you did hear Charlamagne say directly to Joe that he needs to respect Akademiks and that the problem is Joe Budden. But there is something that Joe said earlier in this conversation I'm going to play for you in just a minute. Let's finish hearing the part of Akademiks and Charlamagne talking.
Remember, me and you definitely talked a bunch. I remember even with the, I remember talking to you about the Wale thing.
What was the Wale thing?
Wale was coming up to the show, and it was like a online moment that was preempting it, where he was just like, yo, a nigga like you can't call me corny. And I remember talking to you, and you basically was like, yo, Ak, if you the type of personality that I'm watching, I'm watching you become,
you gotta say it this face.
as soon as he comes in, you need to say, listen here, Wale. And I did that, and I feel like you kind of slammed it a bit. Like, I remember your comments on it. It wasn't like,
I don't remember you calling Wale corny to his face.
no, I said I made the comment. I made the comment because I was voicing what people were already saying about you online.
No, you can't do that. You gotta say, I think you corny.
But I
Like back in the day,
That's not what I said about him. Though. I said people think Wale's corny. That was the conversation at the time.
Oh, I thought you called him corny. Okay.
I wouldn't call these rappers corny because
Salute
like
to Wale, that's my guy.
Yeah,
Salute to Joe too. I'm not. Listen, that's another thing, and I hope for us to get from this conversation. After we have our conversation, I'm just gonna make the rounds. Not the rounds.
You should.
But like Joe, just really Joe, like, cause we don't. This shit is stupid. To me, when I sit back and I look at all of this shit that's been going on,
I'm
I'm just
going
like,
to George.
Am I going to George? I don't give a fuck about George. That's your man. I don't have to deal with George. That's your guy. I don't give a fuck about that Vietnamese kid from Australia.
That's why I think things went.
George would never hear me mention his name if he
Why
hadn't
didn't you
started
get on
shooting
the
at me.
Hold on. All right, okay, privately. So then I get it publicly, which I think.
That's
again,
your fault though.
I
You
wanted,
did that.
I wanted y'all to.
But
I did what?
I called you privately.
But I'm not gonna hold.
You
those
didn't have to
secrets.
you didn't have to make any of this public. None.
All right, let me ask you a question. If I call you and I tell you something about Schultz, are you gonna tell him? You don't fuck with Schultz. If you gotta think like that, you don't fuck with
No, I
Schultz.
had to think about what you said. Yeah,
Yo,
100%.
the moment I fuck with a nigga and you call, like, again, I'm not saying it to throw you under the bus.
But I didn't know you and that dude was close like that. That dude lives all the way in Australia. You know me and Schultz are close. So if I'm with somebody every week, talking to them every day, and you tell me something about them, of course I'm going to them. I didn't know you and George had that type of relationship. Yeah, you say it all the time. He's AI. He's just that. I don't know. So I'm just thinking I'm giving you a heads up because these internet dudes done got pressed, and now they're saying, hey, Ak and Drake are the ones we get our marching orders from.
Okay, can we get back to the sleight of hand? Because I want you to read that article.
No, you don't.
All right. So after finally hearing Charlamagne's side, I still don't think they resolved much of anything. Akademiks seemed to be trying to get his aha moment, and Charlamagne seemed a bit more versed in this kind of verbal tussle. To me, the conversation felt like two people who walked into that room with completely different objectives and caring more about the camera and how the audience would perceive it than reaching an understanding. Charlamagne seemed like he was waiting for the moment to strike, like a boxer in the ring, letting their opponent tire themselves out. And Akademiks kept going back to conversations he had, things people told him, a lot of he said, she said, and moments he still feels were never fully addressed, neither of them answering questions directly. Because of that, it felt like they were talking past each other to me more than they were talking to each other. And honestly, I don't know that there was anything either one of them could have said in that room to completely change the other person's mind. And that even showed through how each of them dropped the videos, with Akademiks dropping 2 hours and 46 minutes and Charlamagne dropping 3 hours and change. And you can see they each wanted to paint it like one won over the other one. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they needed less of a blank slate of a room and maybe a referee, because they were on some Michael Buffer, let's get ready to rumble time. Or since they keep mentioning Joe Budden, maybe they need to go sit on his couch and figure this out. And speaking of Joe, this did take me back to 2 things Joe has said to Charlamagne. This one.
What is I just don't like. It's just certain shit just didn't agree with me. A lot of stuff I used to see on him, like, why? Why are you interviewing this? Like,
Echoing what we say.
I
on
knew
this
he
podcast.
had morals underneath all of this puppet shit.
Yeah, I did. That's why I'm sitting here. I'm just listening, man. Like, I really had Charlamagne pegged all wrong. I think I did.
That has been my entire beef with Charlamagne.
Yeah, I think so. That's why I'm listening a lot.
My beef with Charlamagne is who I think he is, and sometimes how he comes off. It just don't match. Yeah. This is Charlamagne.
What am I any other time?
And this one.
I want to get back to Charlamagne tricking naive Akademiks on his fucking podcast.
Well, this is part of it.
No, I don't
this
care
was
about
part
Wale
of it too.
and all of that.
Charlamagne know what he doing, man.
I really don't.
You know what you doing.
But listen,
honest,
I'm sitting here just listening, and he know what he doing.
I know, but
I know
that's why it's very important that I let you know that
really
in
don't.
spite of Akademiks' naivete, I got him. I
Yes, you growled at
will
him for
protect
an
him
hour.
from you fucking vultures out there, because I don't know what y'all schmick is.
Yo, by the way,
There's a schmick.
By the way, Akademiks.
A shtick.
I've been talking. I've been
Schmick.
building with Akademiks for 6 years. I talk to Akademiks all the time.
Which means what?
I told Akademiks years ago.
Are you his friend or industry friend? Because I can see y'all breaking up.
I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. It's not like I don't hang out with him. He's not my age.
Maybe this whole thing with the casino and everything in between, Charlamagne is one way behind the scene, and when lights, camera, action, he's another way, and that is getting to Akademiks. And it actually reminds me of a video I watched on Fame, and I think that this is the other variable. Akademiks kept going back to the whole Rock Nation casino conversation. Why didn't Charlamagne tell him? And it speaks to the levels and rooms each of them may be in. It's a good video. Go check it out. I'm going to try to link it in the comments. But it speaks to the level of fame and the way each of them deals with their positions. Now, the other thing that caught my attention was Charlamagne saying he needed to make his rounds and more specifically get with Joe Budden. So would you want to see Charlamagne sit down with Joe on the pod? Do you think it would lead to a productive conversation, or really, do they have anything that they need to talk about? Or would it end up looking a lot like what we just watched between Akademiks and Charlamagne? Because Joe Budden did weigh in, and he briefly had this to say.
Like if me and this guy ever gonna kick it, like I don't know what the content piece of it is. We probably do have private conversations to have, but what's the content piece?
One thing all 3 of these conversations have in common is that they always seem to be trying to untangle years of history. And that's hard enough to do in private, but doing it on cameras rolling and knowing every sentence could get clipped, or they wanted to get clipped the way Charlamagne and Akademiks did, is obviously completely changing everything. What do you think of all this? Do you think there are some conversations that are simply better had off camera? And what would you want to see happen next, if anything? Drop your thoughts below and let's talk about it in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Share with a friend. And you can become a supporter if you enjoy rocking with yours truly, Chatterboxx. Until next time.